Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and you may also know my brother Justin, SVT, as he goes by on his YouTube channel. But he came over and brought the 98 Cobra that we both share together, and we were looking it over today, and it's not the prettiest car exterior-wise with the paint. You can see it's flaking pretty bad, but I was going to talk about how it is actually a very hidden gem here. There's some hidden beauty to this car, and it has to do with the underside. You can see underneath it how clean it is from rust, and it's just a very straight body, which is something that's getting very hard to find on these older SN95s. I have a good friend, SVT Congo, and he just pulled the carpet up in his Fox, and you can see the surprise that he was met with all this rust. It's just something that happens when you live in areas that have a lot of humidity, a lot of salt, and where we live in the dry desert climate, it's definitely the opposite and helps preserve the car compared to what you see here. It's just part of life. Also, Shelby Flyer, this is a YouTube channel, and I'll put the link to the video I'm going to show you here in the description. And he bought a Cobra pace car with 140 miles on it. Okay, 140 miles. And inside, it looked beautiful, still plastic over the carpet. The whole interior was flawless. It still had the stickers over the radio. I mean, this car was virtually brand new, and he bought it sight unseen, and when it showed up, it was a beautiful car, but he had received a message on the way in transport after he'd already paid the money and had found that the whole car was covered underneath in rust. And it doesn't look too bad here, but they had also painted over certain parts to try to hide some of it. But everywhere you looked on the undercarriage of this car had rust, and it was just because of the climate that it was in. Most likely a humid climate, could have been near the sea area, a coastal area, and it could have very well also been parked in the dirt, which is, if it's in a barn and it's protected, if it's parked in the dirt, there's a lot of moisture and humidity that still rises up. He ended up sandblasting just about every piece of this car on the bottom side, disassembled it, did an excellent, fantastic job. So watch the video. I'll put the link in the description. And in the end, he repainted it, did a lot of research of what color everything should be, and it turned out beautiful, but he had to remove all the lines, everything like that. Now, in my case, I'm very lucky to be in desert climate, and my car, I've gotten underneath it and been able to clean it, and there's no rust whatsoever, and it's just one of the advantages you have, and also something to consider when you're buying a car. You really want to find somebody as obsessed as we are who actually gets under the car, polishes it, makes sure it's clean, okay, when you're buying a car sight unseen. And you don't even always look at cars like this when you're buying them. You don't put them up on a lift. It's just not something a lot of people do. But it's very important to find a car person, somebody who takes the time to get under there, clean it up. And my twin brother and I actually have competitions with each other. We've taken our cars, we've taken the headlights out and disassembled them to certain degrees to clean them and see whose car could get cleaner. So that's the kind of car that you want to be looking into when you're buying. If a car's just been sitting for a while with really low mileage, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have rust or any other kind of issues like that. But you can see here's a few pictures of my Cobra where I've removed the pulley bridge, I've removed the pulleys themselves. It is spotless underneath. Here's when I had the pulley bridge removed, even before I cleaned it. I even cleaned it up more than that. And just as you can see here's some of the bolts that I've taken, a wire brush to and cleaned up. There's kind of a before and after look there. And anyway, detailing, taking care of things like that, that's a huge plus when you're looking for a car. Rather than one that's just been shoved away. So this is when I had first got my Cobra. You can see how clean I got it underneath there. Not driven in the rain, it still needed to be somewhat cleaned. Now, TKO Resto, another great YouTube channel, they do a lot of repairs on these cars, and I was watching a lot of videos here where they're putting this flat bar in and welding it into place and having to correct all this. So again, it's something that's very common. Now, Tucson, Arizona is where they store a lot of the a lot of the Air Force aircraft that they're storing that are either going to be parted out or reused at some point. There's 4,000 airplanes. It would make up the second largest Air Force if we used them all. But it's that dry desert climate that makes it so important. And so that might be something you want to consider as well when you're buying a car, as a collector car that has some age. My GT that I just got back only spent 1 semester at college up north with its other owner, and as you can see was starting to get a little bit of rust here. So luckily it's not too bad, but it is something I'm going to have to address, and something that was really important to understand. Justin SVT also did a presentation, one of his stories about this car here that was sitting for about 5 years. Again, in the humidity, in the dirt, it really kind of ruined it. And when you look underneath the hood, notice how all the bolts on the engine are rusted. Okay, I've seen cars for sale like this that haven't been sitting in a field for 5 years. So that's kind of a giveaway when you're looking at cars to buy. That'll be a telltale sign of whether if that car is in the wrong kind of climate or not, and something that you want to look into a little more. This car had even been cut in the quarter panel, so you can imagine what kind of rust that it has. But anyway, all in all, just wanted to make this video because I've been watching a lot of these videos from TKO Resto and some of these other ones, and it really just brings to light the idea that if you're looking for a car to buy, especially an older car that's been preserved, that's been sitting for a while, you really want to see how much rust content is in the car. It doesn't mean it's a absolute no for that car, but it's something that a lot of people don't consider that I just wanted to bring up because I've seen it a lot recently. So anyway, put in the comments what you think. I know a lot of this is just surface rust. It's not necessarily, detrimental to the car, but anyway, put in the comments if you have problems with rust in your area and salt and other problems like that, or what your thoughts are on this. Thanks for watching.